7 things you must know before traveling to Japan.
Samurai Junjiro Channel.
Hi, I'm Samurai Junjiro.
Hi, I'm Akanemaru. In this video, we'll go over the key things every visitor should know before traveling to Japan. Japan is a safe country, but there are also hidden traps and scams that tourists often overlook. We'll cover 7 important topics, from immigration procedures to the best and worst times to visit, and even packing tips. Stick around until the end to make your trip to Japan smoother and more enjoyable.
First, let's talk about 10 things you should know about Japan's immigration process. Chapter 1. Mandatory use of Visit Japan Web and its benefits. Since 2024, the Japanese government has strongly encouraged all short-term visitors to use the Visit Japan Web system before arrival. This online platform is designed to simplify entry procedures by allowing travelers to register their information in advance. Before your departure, you can log in to the website and input key details such as your personal information, travel itinerary, and customs declaration. Once completed, the system will generate a QR code that you'll use during your arrival process in Japan. This small step can make a big difference, especially during peak travel seasons when airports tend to get crowded. The QR code is integrated with Japan's facial recognition gates at many major airports. This means that instead of waiting in long lines for manual checks, your identity can be verified quickly and automatically. Immigration and customs procedures can be completed much faster, often in just a few minutes, allowing you to start your adventure right away. It's important to note that internet access at the airport might be unstable, particularly if many travelers are trying to connect to the same Wi-Fi network. For this reason, it's highly recommended to take a screenshot of your QR code and save it to your device before leaving your home country. That way, even without a Wi-Fi connection, you'll still be able to present the necessary code. Using Visit Japan Web not only improves your travel experience, but also contributes to smoother airport operations and better crowd management. It's a win-win for both travelers and authorities. Chapter 2. Major changes in tax-free shopping. Japan has long been a popular destination for international shoppers. Offering a wide variety of products from cosmetics and electronics to snacks and souvenirs, tax-free shopping has enhanced its appeal. However, significant changes are being introduced in 2025 to ensure fairness and transparency in the system. As of April 2025, items purchased and sent overseas will no longer be eligible for tax exemption. This applies to online orders and gift shipments, which were previously common. The revised rule includes both postal and courier shipments. Starting in November 2026, Japan will fully transition to a refund-based tax-free system. Under this system, travelers will pay the consumption tax at purchase and claim a refund at designated counters upon departure. This aligns with many systems already in place in many countries worldwide. Other changes include eliminating special tax-free packaging and requiring travelers to take items out of Japan within 30 days of purchase. Receipt retention will also be required to prevent fraudulent use. While these changes may seem inconvenient, they are crucial for maintaining system integrity. Be sure to confirm details with store staff and allow time for refunds at the airport. Chapter 3. Reintroduction of Suica and Pasmo cards. Suica and Pasmo cards have long been essential tools for getting around in Japan. However, from 2023 to 2024, their sales were suspended due to a global chip shortage. As of March 2025, non-personalized Suica and Pasmo cards are once again available for purchase. These versions don't require ID or registration, making them ideal for short-term visitors. They are available at major airports and train stations. With just a tap at the gate, you can ride trains or buses without buying individual tickets. they can be easily recharged with cash or credit card. These cards are also accepted at convenience stores, vending machines, lockers, and cafes. They are an effective solution for navigating Japan even without speaking the language. You can return the card for a deposit refund at the end of your trip. Chapter 4. Departure tax may increase. Since January 2019, Japan has imposed a departure tax of 1,000 yen on all travelers leaving the country. This fee, officially known as the International Tourist Tax, is automatically included in the price of airline or cruise tickets. The revenue has been used to improve tourism infrastructure such as multilingual signage, airport Wi-Fi, and streamlined immigration procedures. However, discussions are now underway to increase this departure tax to 5,000 yen in 2025. The proposed increase reflects Japan's growing need to support rising inbound tourism and expand services in rural areas. The additional funds would support airport expansion, crowd management in tourist hotspots, and the enhancement of digital services. While the proposal is not yet finalized, it has sparked mixed reactions. Some view it as a fair investment in better travel experiences, while others are concerned it may deter budget-conscious visitors. If approved, the increase would likely be implemented in late 2025 or early 2026. It's important for travelers to stay informed and factor this potential change into their travel budgets. Ultimately, this move aims to create a more sustainable and enjoyable travel environment in Japan. Chapter 5. East Visa Rules for Chinese Tourists and Their Impact. In 2024, Japan began issuing 10-year multiple-entry visas to Chinese tourists. This policy has significantly increased the number of inbound tourists from China. The visa allows stays of up to 90 days per visit. It also allows for multiple entries, making it ideal for business travel, family visits, or frequent leisure trips. Popular destinations such as Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, and Hokkaido are seeing notable increases in crowding due to this rise in Chinese tourism. While this is positive for the local economy and international exchange, it also presents challenges for other travelers, such as difficulties booking accommodations and transportation. This is especially true during peak travel seasons like Japan's Golden Week or China's national holidays. Travelers are strongly advised to make hotel and transportation reservations as early as possible. Considering lesser-known destinations can also be a great way to avoid crowds and discover unique experiences. The visa relaxation is part of Japan's broader goal to attract 60 million foreign visitors annually by 2030. Similar policies are likely to expand to other countries, making travel to Japan even more accessible in the near future. Chapter 6. Preclearance Pilot Program. To improve traveler convenience and reduce congestion at airports, Japan has launched a pilot program introducing preclearance procedures. The pilot program began in 2025 at Taiwan International Airport. Preclearance allows travelers to complete Japanese immigration checks at their departure airport before boarding. As a result, travelers can bypass immigration lines and enter Japan quickly upon arrival. This is especially advantageous during peak travel periods or international events when airports are crowded. At the departure airport, travelers stop by a Japanese immigration booth to verify documents, fingerprints, and facial recognition. Once cleared, a confirmation mark is added to the boarding pass. Upon arrival in Japan, travelers use a special lane and skip the regular immigration process. Although still in its trial phase, the program has received positive feedback from users. If successful, the system may expand to other major airports such as Incheon, Hong Kong, or Singapore. Check with your airline or departure airport in advance to confirm if pre-clearance is available. This program could become the new standard for smoother and more efficient entry into Japan. Chapter 7. Baggage inspection and import restrictions. In recent years, Japan's custom authorities have strengthened baggage inspection procedures and tightened import restrictions. The goal is to prevent illegal imports and ensure public safety. Travelers should be fully aware of prohibited and restricted items before entering Japan. Typical prohibited items include fresh produce, meat products, counterfeit goods, fur, and certain pharmaceutical drugs. Even items that are legal in your home country may be restricted or banned in Japan. For example, some common cold or pain relief medications may contain substances restricted under Japanese law. To detect such violations, advanced X-ray scanners are now installed at Japanese airports. When suspicious items are detected, customs officers may perform manual inspections. Travelers from high-risk regions or carrying bulky or unusual items may be subject to stricter checks. If unsure, always declare questionable items on your custom forms and consult an officer. Failure to declare, even unintentionally, can result in fines, confiscation, or denial of entry. Be cautious when carrying items for others, as you are legally responsible for all contents in your possession. Before your trip, check Japan's customs official website for the latest list of restricted goods. Following these rules is the first step toward a smooth and hassle-free arrival in Japan. Chapter 8. Recommended Translation Apps. One of the most common concerns among travelers to Japan is the language barrier. While English signage is more common in cities, communication in rural areas can still be quite difficult. This is where translation apps become incredibly useful. Two of the most popular options are Voictra and Google Translate. Both are free, user-friendly, and support two-way translation between Japanese and English. Voictra, developed by Japan's National Institute of Information and Communications Technology, is particularly reliable for transportation and lodging-related phrases. Its offline functionality is a great advantage in areas with poor internet access. Google Translate, on the other hand, offers features such as real-time translation via your camera for signs and menus. It also includes conversation mode and ability to save useful phrases for quick reference. Whichever app you use, it's wise to download the Japanese language pack ahead of time. Learning simple phrases like sumimasen, arigato, and eigo hanasemasu ka can also go a long way. Some newer AI-powered apps combine translation, mapping, and restaurant research features for all-in-one convenience. Keep in mind that frequent use can drain your battery quickly, so carrying a portable charger is advised. With a good translation app, confusion turns into confidence, and communication becomes a more enjoyable part of your journey. Chapter 9. Emergency Contacts and How to Get Help. Japan is one of the safest countries in the world, but it's still important to be prepared for emergencies. Quick response is essential in situations such as accidents, illness, or natural disasters. Japan's emergency numbers are simple and easy to remember. Dial 110 to contact the police and 119 for fire or ambulance services. Both numbers can be dialed for free from mobile phones or public telephones. In urban areas, operators can often assist in English. Some municipalities also operate multilingual call centers for foreign visitors. At major airports and train stations, tourist information counters often have staff who can assist in English. Many hotels provide guests with emergency contact cards at check-in. It's a good idea to ask your hotel in advance about their emergency protocols. Save the contact information of your country's embassy or consulate in your phone just in case. Being prepared means peace of mind and a safer, more enjoyable journey. Chapter 10. Japan's 2025 Holiday and Busy Periods. Japan had several peak travel seasons during which demand for transportation and accommodation surges. During these times, tickets can be difficult to obtain, and prices often rise significantly. The most notable peak periods are Golden Week, late April to early May, and New Year holidays, December 29th to January 3rd. Golden Week consists of several consecutive public holidays promoting many Japanese to travel. During New Year, people return to their hometowns or visit shrines, causing heavy congestion in trains, flights, and highways. If you plan to travel during these periods, it's essential to book everything, flights, trains, and hotels as early as possible. Shinkansen and domestic flights often sell out quickly as soon as seat reservations open. Consider using early bird discounts or flexible reservation options to stay adaptable. On the other hand, off-peak seasons such as mid-May, September, and early December are less crowded and offer more affordable rates. If you prefer a smoother travel experience, these quieter periods can be an excellent choice. Regardless of when you travel, a flexible schedule and a relaxed itinerary will help make your trip more enjoyable and stress-free.
Next, we'll cover 20 common money-wasting habits you should avoid in Japan. Chapter 1. Choosing only high-end sushi restaurants. Of course, you want to try authentic sushi when visiting Japan. But going straight to high-end sushi restaurants in Ginza might not be the smartest choice. Some places cost over 20,000 yen per person and are hard to book. And just because it's expensive doesn't mean you'll enjoy it more. In fact, there are plenty of affordable and delicious sushi options in Japan. Even 100 yen conveyor belt sushi chains offer surprisingly good quality. Local conveyor belt or stand-up sushi shops are budget-friendly and often less touristy. Of course, high-end sushi is great for special occasions, but not every meal. To use your travel budget wisely, try sushi at different price points. You don't have to spend a fortune to enjoy amazing sushi in Japan. Chapter 2. Overusing the Tokyo Metro Pass. The Tokyo Metro Pass is a go-to item for many tourists exploring the city. It feels like a good deal. Unlimited rides for 1 or 3 days. But if you don't ride that often, you might end up spending more. Many Tokyo sites are walkable, and you might not ride the train that often in a single day. Sometimes just using a Suica card is cheaper. Plus, many places aren't reachable by metro alone. You'll need JR trains, which cost extra. In the end, you may not get your money's worth out of the unlimited pass. It's better to plan your route and see how many rides you'll actually take. Ask yourself, do you really need unlimited rides? Chapter 3. Always choosing limited express trains. Wanting to save time, many travelers choose limited express trains. But Japanese trains are already punctual and efficient. You don't always need express trains. For example, going to Narita Airport, you can either pay for a limited express or take a slower local train. The difference can be 30 minutes and cost hundreds or even thousands of yen more. If you're not in a rush, local trains are perfectly comfortable. You also get to enjoy the view and observe everyday local life. Just remember, express trains aren't always the best choice. Use them strategically, and you can save a lot on transportation. Chapter 4. Spending too much on wagashi workshops. One popular way to experience Japanese culture is through wagashi making workshops. Making traditional sweets with your own hands sounds amazing. However, some workshops aimed at tourists have started raising their prices. Some charge over 10,000 yen for a 1-hour session, which many feel is overpriced. In some cases, the experience is basic and far from authentic craftsmanship. Of course, meaningful memories matter, but so does value for money. You can often find the same type of experience outside tourist hubs for half the price. Don't forget, you can buy high-quality wagashi at supermarkets for just a few hundred yen. Experience doesn't have to mean expensive. Choose what fits your budget and interest. Chapter 5. Believing everything is made in Japan. Do you assume that all souvenirs sold in Japan are made in Japan? The truth is, that's not always the case. Many souvenir shops, especially in tourist areas, are full of mass-produced items made overseas. You might be fooled by Japanese labels or Japan prints, but many are made in China or Southeast Asia. Of course, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But it's disappointing when you realize later that it wasn't made in Japan after all. Check the back or bottom of the package. Manufacturing countries are often written in small print. If you're visiting Japan, choosing genuine Japanese-made goods makes for better souvenirs. Chapter 6. Buying duty-free souvenirs at the airport. Many people buy souvenirs at the airport before heading home. It seems easier, you're short on time, and it's duty-free. But in many cases, the same items are cheaper in city stores. For snacks or cosmetics, discount stores or drugstores usually offer better prices and more variety. Some airport souvenirs have tourist-friendly packaging, but less content at a higher price. Thinking, "I'll just buy everything at the airport," can lead to overspending. It's smarter to pick up your souvenirs in town while you still have time. Chapter 7. Shipping luggage from the airport unnecessarily. Many travelers think, "It's too much to carry. I'll just ship my luggage to the hotel." Indeed, Japan's delivery service is convenient and reliable. However, airport-based shipping often comes with a premium. You might pay thousands of yen even for short distances. In some cases, same-day delivery isn't possible, and you won't get your bags right away. If your hotel is accessible by train or bus, carrying one suitcase is often more economical. Weigh the cost and convenience, and choose the method that works best for you. Chapter 8. Paying high fees for observation decks. Japan has many popular observation spots like Tokyo Skytree and Abeno Harcus. Enjoying the view can be a wonderful travel memory. However, some observation decks charge over 2,000 yen, which is up fast for families or groups. And on cloudy or rainy days, poor visibility can ruin the experience. In fact, there are many free viewpoints across Japan. Places like the Tokyo Metropolitan Government buildings or department store rooftops offer great views for free. Before paying, try checking out the free options first. You might get the same view without spending a yen. Chapter 9. Collecting too many goshuin stamps. Getting goshuin stamps at temples and shrines is a uniquely Japanese experience. Each one is hand-drawn, beautiful like art, and cherished as a travel memento. But some travelers end up visiting over 10 places a day, spending thousands of yen without noticing. Each goshuin usually costs 300 to 500 yen, and collecting too many adds up quickly. Sometimes collecting becomes the goal, and you miss the cultural meaning behind each temple's shrine. It's more meaningful to explore deeply and get one memorable stamp than dozens without thought. Focus on quality, not quantity, to make your goshuin experience truly special. Chapter 10. Spending on hotel breakfast buffets daily. Hotel breakfast buffets are undeniably tempting. You get a wide variety of Japanese and Western dishes all you can eat. But eating it every day can cost around 2,000 yen per meal, which adds up fast. Outside the hotel, you'll find many breakfast options for just a few hundred yen. Cafe chains offer great morning sets, and even convenience stores have tasty rice bowls and miso soup. You don't need to eat the buffet daily. Try it once or twice and explore local breakfast spots on other days. You'll experience more of Japan's food culture and get more out of your trip. Chapter 11. Overspending at concept cafes like maid cafes. Unique to Japan, concept cafes like maid cafes and ninja cafes are very popular among tourists. They offer a surreal, themed experience, and it's totally understandable to want to try it once. But once inside, unexpected costs can pile up. There are table charges, photo fees, show charges, and they're not always clearly listed. A single drink can cost over 1,000 yen, and full sets can exceed 3,000 yen easily. Some places have time limits or require extra orders to stay longer. Always check the pricing system before entering and stick to your budget. These experiences can be great, but only when they don't leave your wallet empty. Chapter 12. Tipping in Japan. One thing that often confuses tourists is Japan's tipping culture, or rather, the lack of it. Tipping is not customary in Japan, and offering one can even make staff uncomfortable. Even at upscale restaurants and hotels, service charges are already included in the bill. In taxis or cafes, there's no need to leave change behind as a tip. Many places even have a no tipping policy and will politely refuse it. If you want to show appreciation, a warm smile and a simple arigato is more than enough. In Japan, gratitude is shown through manners, not money. Chapter 13. Buying Shinkansen tickets last minute. The Shinkansen is fast and comfortable, but tickets aren't cheap. Many travelers just buy tickets at full price from vending machines or counters on the day of travel. But there are many discounted options available if you book online in advance. Sites like etiquette or JR's official page offer early bird discounts and foreigner exclusive deals. The Japan Rail Pass can also save you a lot if you're taking multiple trips. Use it wisely. If you've only thought about same-day tickets, it's worth researching online booking options. A little planning can lead to big saving on your trip. Chapter 14. Overloading your Suica card. I see cards like Suica and Passmo are super convenient for getting around Japan. They work for trains, buses, and even small purchases. Tourists love them. However, many people end up loading more money than they actually use. If you're only visiting for a short stay, charging more than 5,000 yen often results in leftover balance. Plus, some refunds come with fees, and airport counters can be crowded or hard to find. You can recharge in small amounts, so it's smarter to top up as needed. Avoid wasting money on last-minute purchases just to use up your balance. Chapter 15. Buying attraction tickets on the day of visit. Are you planning to buy attraction tickets at the entrance on the day of your visit? That might be a costly mistake. Many attractions offer discounts for online or advanced bookings. And during many seasons, same-day tickets might be sold out. Places like Team Lab or Ghibli Park often require advanced reservations. Booking through official sites or travel apps sometimes include perks or extra benefits. With a little planning, you can also avoid long ticket lines. Buying on the day should be a last resort. Always try to book in advance. Chapter 16. Relying too much on convenience stores and vending machines. Japanese convenience stores and vending machines are incredibly convenient. They're everywhere, open 24/7, and offer a wide range of items. But relying on them too often can gradually inflate your spending. Buying rice bowls and drinks daily can cost several thousand yen in a week. Supermarkets often sell the same items for 10 to 20% less. Using supermarkets or drugstores near your hotel can save you a lot more money. Of course, convenience stores are useful, but not ideal for every purchase. Use them occasionally. That's the sweet spot. Chapter 17. Losing money exchanging currency at airports or hotels. Many travelers exchange currency at the airport or their hotel right after arriving in Japan. However, this often results in poor exchange rates and extra fees. Because of the convenience, their rates are usually higher, what we call tourist pricing. Exchanging just 10,000 yen can cost you over 1,000 yen more than doing it in the city. Using banks, licensed currency exchanges, or favorable ATMs in town is a smarter option. Nowadays, debit cards and money apps that support foreign currency are becoming more common. Don't rush. Compare rates first before exchanging. Chapter 18. Overusing taxis in Japan. Many tourists rely on taxis because they're tired or carrying heavy luggage. Of course, taxis are convenient and comfortable. However, in Japan, even short rides can easily exceed 2,000 yen. For short distances, subways or buses are far more economical. With apps like Google Maps, it's easy to navigate public transport in Japan. Use taxis only when truly necessary. Otherwise, travel smart with your Suica card. Chapter 19. Ending up with too many coins. In Japan, cash, especially coins, is still commonly used. Every time you get change, your wallet gets heavier and heavier. It's common to find yourself stuck with a handful of coins at the end of your trip. You can't exchange coins at airports, and they're useless once you leave Japan. The solution? Make an effort to use your coins during your trip. Try paying the exact amount at stores or using machines that accept coins, or recharge your IC card with them. Lighten your wallet before heading home. Spend those coins wisely. Chapter 20. Relying on hotel laundry services. If you're staying long or traveling in summer, doing laundry becomes necessary. However, hotel laundry services often charge 500 to 1,000 yen per item. A few shirts can cost as much as a night's stay if you're not careful. Coin laundromats in town are a great alternative. They're open 24 hours and some offer wash and dry services for under 500 yen. Many business hotels also have guest laundry rooms. Use them when available. Smart laundry choices can help you save a lot on your trip.
Then, let's go over 10 smart packing tips that'll make your Japan trip easier. Chapter 1. Passport, visa, and travel insurance. First and foremost, make sure you have all the documents required to enter Japan. For most countries, no visa is required for tourist visits under 90 days. However, visa requirements vary by country, so always check the latest info from the Japanese embassy website before departure. Make sure your passport is valid for the entire duration of your stay. Your passport must be valid until your departure date from Japan. One thing many travelers forget is to get travel insurance. Japan has excellent medical care, but it can be very expensive without insurance. Credit card insurance often have limited coverage, so getting separate travel insurance is a smart move. It's a good idea to save a digital copy of your insurance policy and contact info, or print it out just in case. At immigration, you'll only need your passport, but it's helpful to have your hotel info handy in case of questions or emergencies. You can also use the Visit Japan web system for smoother entry procedures. It's easy to register on your phone and can speed up immigration and customs checks. So to sum up, passport, visa status, travel insurance, accommodation details, and Visit Japan web. Having all of these ready will give you a worry-free start to your adventure. Chapter 2. Money Matters. Cash, cards, and mobile payments. Japan may be a modern country, but cash is still surprisingly essential here. In rural areas or small family-run shops, it's not uncommon to find places that only accept cash. That's why you should always carry some cash with you while traveling in Japan. As a rule of thumb, having about 5,000 to 10,000 yen per day is a safe bet. Currency exchange counters at airports often offer unfavorable rates, so using ATMs in Japan is usually a better option. ATMs from Seven Bank or Japan Post Bank are foreign card friendly and allow you to withdraw Japanese yen with ease. As for credit cards, Visa and MasterCards are widely accepted at hotels and large stores in major cities. However, many local restaurants and even some transport systems still don't accept cards, so don't rely on them too much. Mobile payments are becoming more popular across Japan. Apps like PayPay or Rakuten Pay are common, but they can be tricky for foreign visitors to set up. Instead, registering a Suica or Passmo card to Apple Pay or Google Pay lets you make easy payment on trains, buses, and even at convenience stores. With just your phone, you can get around and shop seamlessly in Japan. Note, charging Suica via app may require a Japanese credit card, so check your balance in advance. Still, you'll find plenty of situations where having cash comes in handy. For example, buying charms at a shrine or grabbing street food usually requires cash. Lastly, Japan doesn't have a tipping culture, so no need to pay extra at restaurants or in taxis. This makes payments straightforward and stress-free. To sum up, the best combo in Japan is cash plus credit card plus Suica. Balance all three wisely, and your money management in Japan will be a breeze. Chapter 3. Smartphone Essentials. Chargers, adapters, and connectivity. These days, your smartphone is your most essential travel companion. From maps and translation to payments, photos, and transit apps, your trip to Japan gets a whole lot easier with just one device. That's why it's crucial to prep your phone accessories and internet setup before or right after arriving in Japan. First, don't forget your charger and a backup mobile battery. When you are out sightseeing, using maps and taking photos drain your battery much faster than you think. Also, Japan uses 100-volt electricity and Type A plugs. If you're from the US or Canada, you're fine, but if you're from Europe or Australia, you'll need a plug adapter. Appliances like hair dryers or curling irons may not be compatible with Japan's voltage, so check before you travel. Next, you need solid internet access to make the most of your smartphone in Japan. Renting pocket Wi-Fi at the airport is a reliable option, especially if you are traveling with others. If you are traveling solo, eSIMs or prepaid SIM cards for tourists are also great choices. Recently, eSIMs have become popular because you can buy and activate them online in advance. They are easy to set up, and you'll have internet access the moment you land in Japan. Just be aware that local Japanese SIM cards often require ID, so make sure to choose tourist-friendly options. Free public Wi-Fi exists in Japan, but it's often slow or require annoying signups. For peace of mind, it's best to bring your own internet solution. Also, don't forget to download key apps before your trip. Apps like Google Maps, Google Translate, Japan Transit Planner, and Suica will make your life so much easier. With the right setup, your phone can help you avoid confusion, solve problems, and even make payments on the go. Chapter 4. Comfortable travel gear, shoes, day bags, and folding umbrellas. When traveling in Japan, you likely walk much more than you expect. Whether you are navigating train stations, sightseeing, or shopping, walking all day is common. That's why wearing comfortable walking shoes is absolutely essential. Cushioned sneakers or low-cut shoes that fit your feet well are the best choice. Sandals, dress shoes, or heels can quickly become painful and are not suitable for uneven paths or staircases. Also, you'll often need to take off your shoes in Japan, so easy slip-on designs are very helpful. For example, you'll be removing your shoes at temples, ryokans, izakayas, or fitting rooms. The next essential item is a small day bag for your daily outings. Carrying a large suitcase around is impractical, so a compact bag for essentials is much more convenient. Backpacks or crossbody bags are fine. Just try to pick one with good anti-theft features. In crowded areas like train stations or tourist spots, pickpocketing can happen. Zippered closures and hidden pockets offer extra peace of mind. Japan's weather can change quickly, and sudden rain showers are common. That's why a lightweight folding umbrella is a smart thing to keep in your bag. You can buy one at a 100 yen shop or convenience store, but bringing your own saves you in a pinch. In summer, bring sun protection like hats or sunglasses. In winter, pack gloves and a neck warmer to stay cozy. When traveling, you want to minimize your luggage while still having quick access to the things you need. Just a few smart, lightweight, and functional choices can make a huge difference in how comfortable your trip feels. Chapter 5. Travel Comfort Essentials, Neck Pillows, Eye Masks, and more. Long flight and long-distance train rides can take a bigger toll on your body than you might expect. Flights to Japan often take over 10 hours from Western countries, and flying economy can be quite uncomfortable. That's why packing a few smart items to make your travel time more comfortable is highly recommended. First up, the neck pillow. If you've ever struggled to sleep on a plane because your neck kept flopping, you're not alone. A simple U-shaped neck pillow helps keep your head stable and improves your sleep quality dramatically. Inflatable types are especially handy since they pack down small when not in use. Next must-have item, the eye mask. Even when the cabin lights are off, it can be hard to sleep due to ambient light and passenger activity. An eye mask blocks out light and helps create your own little restful zone. Additionally, earplugs or noise-canceling earbuds can be game changers for long trips. They help reduce engine noise and chatter, allowing you to relax more easily. When you want to take off your shoes and relax, cabin slippers or thick socks come in handy. Your feet can get chilly, so bringing a light blanket or shawl can add some warmth and comfort. If you're prone to motion sickness, pack some anti-nausea medicine or a mint tablet just in case. Also bring a phone stand, charging cables, and make sure your phone is set up to connect to in-flight Wi-Fi. It's a good idea to download some movies, shows, or music ahead of time in case the in-flight entertainment isn't to your taste. With these small items, travel time becomes less of a chore and more of an opportunity to rest and recharge. Arriving well rested means you'll be ready to enjoy your trip to Japan from the moment you land. Chapter 6. Skincare, Hygiene, and Wellness Essentials for Travel. To enjoy your trip to Japan comfortably, staying healthy and clean is essential. Since you're in a new environment, your skin and body may be more sensitive than usual. First, it's a good idea to bring your own basic skincare and toiletries. Hotels might provide some items, but they may not suit sensitive skin or personal preferences. Bring travel-size face wash, toner, moisturizer, and lip balm with you. For women, don't forget makeup remover. Toothbrushes, toothpaste, and razors in Japan may feel too small for some travelers. For hygiene, hand sanitizing wipes, gel, and pocket tissues are super useful. Since trash cans are rare in public places, you need to manage your hygiene on your own. You can buy pads and deodorant in Japan, but they may differ in scent or style, so bring what you are used to. Medications and wellness items are also important. Don't forget your usual cold meds, stomach medicine, painkillers, or allergy pills. You can buy these in Japan, but language barriers and unfamiliar ingredients can cause confusion. Band-aids, eye drops, vitamins, and sleep aids can also come in handy. If you visit during pollen season, spring, masks and allergy meds are a must. Japanese masks are high quality, but having a few on hand is reassuring. If you get sick while traveling, your experience can be ruined. That's why you should pack items tailored to your body and needs. Staying clean and healthy will make your time in Japan more comfortable and enjoyable. Chapter 7. Essentials for lost baggage and flight delays. One of the most stressful travel issues is flight delays or lost baggage. No matter how careful you are, missing luggage can happen unexpectedly. To prepare, always pack essentials in your carry-on bag. First, bring at least one full change of clothes just in case. A spare set of underwear, socks, and a t-shirt will help you feel clean and refreshed the next day. A compact toiletry kit with a toothbrush, face wash, and towel will also be helpful. Face wipes, deodorant, and a mask can make you feel much better. Always keep your phone charger and a portable battery with you. Having a dead phone during a delay only adds to the stress. Staying connected is key to staying calm. Packing a few snacks and a drink can help during unexpected flight delays or cancellations. Even a small snack can go a long way in keeping you calm and comfortable. It's also important to understand your airline's compensation policies in advance. Some airlines may reimburse you for essentials if your baggage is lost. Don't forget to keep receipts and follow their claims process properly. If you have travel insurance, you may be eligible for additional support. It may cover lost baggage, extra hotel nights, or alternative transportation. Always keep valuables with you in your carry-on. Never pack passports, cash, cards, or electronics in checked luggage. This way, you'll be ready to handle any unexpected issues with ease. It's during emergencies that good preparation truly matters. A few smart choices can save you a lot of trouble later on. Chapter 8. How to pack light, making the most of hotel amenities. Have you ever found yourself struggling with heavy luggage during your trip? In Japan's cities, navigating train stations or streets with lots of luggage isn't always easy. Many places lack elevators or clear signs. That's when you realize how much easier things would be if you had packed lighter. One of the best ways to pack light is by taking full advantage of your hotel's amenities. Many hotels in Japan provide free amenities like toothbrushes, razors, hairbrushes, shampoo, body wash, and cotton swabs. Using these means you can leave those items at home, making your bag much lighter. If you are visiting several cities and changing hotels every few nights, carrying less becomes even more important. By using hotel amenities, you can free up space in your pouch and make room for souvenirs or other essentials. Hair dryers, pajamas, and slippers are also commonly available. If you are staying in reliable hotels, you can skip packing these altogether. However, budget accommodations or guest houses may not offer these, so always check the hotel's website beforehand. Many places now let you pick only what you need from the front desk, helping reduce waste and making things more efficient. Many hotels also have coin laundries, so if you can do laundry, you can pack fewer clothes too. Less luggage means faster checkouts and easier travel between cities. Most importantly, walking around town without heavy bags makes your trip far more enjoyable. Smart travelers adjust to the local rhythm and only carry what they need when they need it. Instead of thinking you need to bring everything, trust in Japan's hospitality and embrace a lighter, freer journey. Chapter 9. Japan's carry-your-trash culture and the plastic bag system. Many foreign visitors are surprised by how few public trash cans there are in Japan. Even in popular tourist spots or near stations, it can be hard to find a place to throw your trash. That's because in Japan, it's common to take your trash home with you. This practice isn't just about manners, it's also tied to safety and sanitation. So it's smart to carry small bags or ziplocs to keep your trash while on the go. Empty bottles or snack wrappers can't always be disposed of immediately. You'll find trash bins at hotels, some stations and convenience stores, but options are limited elsewhere. Another thing to know, plastic shopping bags in Japan are no longer free. Since 2020, plastic bags have come with a small charge as part of Japan's eco-friendly initiatives. At convenience stores or supermarkets, if you need a bag, you must ask for one and pay a small fee. It usually costs between 3 to 10 yen, not much, but it adds up over time. And constantly being asked, "Do you need a bag?" can get a bit tiring too. That's where affordable eco bag becomes super useful. They're compact, lightweight, and easy to carry in your day bag. If you plan to buy a lot of souvenirs, eco bag help keep things organized too. And if you can't find a trash can for your plastic bag, you can simply carry it home in your own bag. Japan's clean streets are a result of people being mindful and taking their trash with them. Understanding and respecting this custom is a great way to show courtesy as a traveler. A little effort goes a long way in making your trip smoother and more enjoyable. Chapter 10. Prohibited Imports and Souvenir Rules to Know Before You Fly. One of the best parts of traveling is choosing souvenirs to bring back home. Japan offers everything from cute stationery to high-end sweets and traditional crafts, perfect for gifting. But when it's time to pack, you might wonder, is it okay to take this home? In fact, there are many items with restrictions, either when leaving Japan or entering your home country. For example, meat products, fruits, and raw plants are often completely banned in many countries. You might want to bring back sausages or pickled foods, but customs might confiscate them. Countries like Australia, New Zealand, and the US have strict rules on animal and plant imports. There are also limits on cosmetics and medications, so check the allowed quantities and ingredients carefully. You also need to pay attention to duty-free rules at airports and airlines. Alcohol and tobacco have duty-free limits. Go over them, and you'll have to declare and pay tax. Japan also restricts certain items from being taken out of the country. For example, swords, antiques, or artwork may require official export approval due to cultural preservation laws. Of course, drugs, counterfeit items, and fake branded products are strictly prohibited in all countries. When choosing souvenirs, always ask yourself, can I take this home legally and safely? If in doubt, ask the staff before buying, can I bring this overseas? Nowadays, many shops offer tax-free shopping and provide clear guidance for foreign customers. At the airport, be aware that security checks may still flag certain items before departure. It's great to enjoy shopping for souvenirs, but following the rules is part of being a responsible traveler. To return home without trouble, double-check and plan ahead with care. Bring back your memories and your souvenirs safely and legally. After that, we'll look at 10 travel pitfalls you should know to avoid disappointment. Chapter 1. Admission fees at tourist attractions. Japan's tourist attractions and theme parks are must-visit destinations for foreign travelers. But did you know that there's a hidden structure in admission pricing that often causes foreign visitors to lose money? For example, let's take the brand new theme park Junglia, which opened in Okinawa in 2025. If you book through the official Japanese website, the adult admission price is 6,930 yen. On the other hand, the exact same ticket costs 8,800 yen when purchased through the official English website. This means that even though both groups enjoy the exact same attractions and shows, foreign visitors end up paying nearly 1,800 yen more simply because of which website they use. Similar cases can be seen at temples in Kyoto and Nara. Foreign tourists often purchase combined admission tickets listed in guidebooks for English websites, while locals who knows about regional discount tickets in Japanese can sometimes enter for nearly half the price. The same goes for observation decks in Tokyo. While foreigners buy expensive same-day tickets, Japanese locals use reservation sites or coupons to enjoy the experience at 20 to 30% off. The reason behind this is that most of the discount information is only published in Japanese. In other words, foreign tourists end up paying under less favorable conditions simply because of the language barrier. For travelers, a difference of 1,000 to nearly 2,000 yen at a single attraction may not seem huge. But if you visit 5 or 10 spots over a week, the total difference easily exceeds 10,000 yen. That's how much money you can lose simply because you didn't know. The way to avoid this is surprisingly simple. Foreigners can also use Japanese booking sites and apps, and these days Google Translate is often enough to handle the process. It's also effective to ask the ticket counter, "Do you have any discount tickets?" Sometimes local staff will share unexpected tips with you. As you can see, whether or not you have the right information can dramatically change the cost of your trip to Japan. Chapter 2. Price differences at restaurants and buffets. One of the greatest joys of traveling in Japan is, of course, the food. Sushi, tempura, yakiniku, and all-you-can-eat buffets are must-try experiences for most tourists. However, this is another area where foreign visitors often end up paying more than they should. Let's take a real-life example from the famous seafood restaurant Tamatebako in Shibuya. Here, a 90-minute all-you-can-eat seafood buffet costs 6,578 yen for domestic male residents. On the other hand, when foreign tourists book the exact same plan, the price is 7,678 yen. This means that for the same meal and the same time limit, foreigners end up paying 1,100 yen more than Japanese customers. The price difference comes from the reservation site itself, where both domestic resident and foreign visitor rates are listed side by side. The best way to avoid this is to carefully check the listed prices before booking and see if a domestic plan is available. With a little effort, you can cut down on unnecessary spending and use the savings for other memorable experiences. Chapter 3. Transportation costs, trains, buses, and flights. One unavoidable part of traveling in Japan is the cost of transportation. Trains, buses, and domestic flights are very convenient, but this is also an area where foreign tourists often lose money without realizing it. Let's start with trains. Japanese residents can take advantage of discounted tickets such as advanced purchase fares and coupon books. For example, the Narita Express from Narita Airport to Tokyo Station normally costs 3,070 yen one way. However, on Japanese reservation sites and apps, discounted tickets for around 2,500 yen are sometimes available for residents. On the other hand, foreign visitors often buy tickets on the day at the airport and end up paying the full 3,070 yen. The same goes for the Shinkansen. For instance, a reserved seat on the Nozomi train from Tokyo to Shin Osaka costs around 14,720 yen one way. Japanese residents using JR's online service, Express Reservation, can book nearly the same train for around the low 13,000 yen range. This means foreign travelers are paying over 1,000 yen more for the same ride. Now let's look at buses. Highway buses connecting cities can sometimes be reserved online for just over 2,000 yen by Japanese residents. However, tourists often rely on English-friendly booking sites or travel agencies where the same ride can cost 3,500 yen or more. The difference may look small, but with round trips or multiple rides, it quickly adds up. Finally, let's talk about flights. Low-cost carriers, LCCs, in Japan often sell tickets for just a few thousand yen on their Japanese websites. For example, a flight from Narita to Sapporo can sometimes be bought for under 5,000 yen by Japanese residents. Meanwhile, when foreign visitors search for the same flight on the English version of the website, the price often shows as 7,000 to 8,000 yen. In other words, whether or not you reside in Japan directly affects how much you pay for transportation. To avoid overpaying, travelers should book as early as possible and research what discounts are available. It also helps to compare both Japanese and English websites, since prices can differ between the two. With a little effort, you can save significantly on transportation and use that money for more enjoyable parts of your trip. Chapter 4. Hotel and Accommodation Pricing. Hotels and accommodations in Japan are another area where foreign visitors may unknowingly lose money. The main points to watch out for are the differences in pricing systems and the price gaps depending on the booking site. First, many Japanese accommodations offer one night with 2 meals included as a standard plan, meaning dinner and breakfast are bundled into the price. This is common for Japanese travelers, but for foreign visitors, it may not always be necessary. For example, even if you plan to dine out while sightseeing, the dinner portion of the hotel fee is usually non-refundable, leaving you paying for a meal you never eat. Next, let's talk about price differences depending on the booking route. On Japanese language websites or apps, the exact same room under the same conditions might be listed for around 10,000 yen per night. However, on English language booking sites, the same stay can often be priced at 12,000 yen or more. In other words, the displayed price differs even though the room and services are identical. This tendency is particularly noticeable in tourist hotspots like Okinawa and Kyoto. For instance, at a resort hotel in Okinawa, the same room with breakfast might cost around 12,000 yen on a Japanese site, but nearly 15,000 yen on an English site. The difference is about 3,000 yen per night. If you stay for 3 nights, that adds up to almost 10,000 yen lost. In addition, more and more hotels now offer foreigner-only plans. At first glance, these may seem like a good deal, but in reality, early bird or direct sale plans for Japanese residents are often cheaper. To avoid overpaying, tourists should first check whether meals are included or if a room-only plan is available. Also, simply comparing prices on Japanese language official sites or local apps can result in significant savings. With a bit of effort, you can save thousands of yen on accommodation and use that money for sightseeing or unique experiences instead. Chapter 5. Hands-on activities and cultural experiences. One of the most popular trends among visitors to Japan is hands-on cultural activities. Tea ceremonies, kimono rentals, calligraphy workshops, and martial arts lessons are just a few of the unique experiences that attract many travelers. However, these activities are also an area where foreign tourists often end up paying more without realizing it. For example, in Tokyo or Kyoto, a tea ceremony experience might cost about 3,000 yen per person if booked through a Japanese website, while the same session can exceed 5,000 yen on an English booking site. This difference isn't due to changes in the tea served or the program itself. It's often just a higher price set for foreign visitors. Similarly, kimono rentals that cost around 4,000 yen a day on Japanese sites can be listed for 6,000 yen or more on English language platforms. The gap can be more than 2,000 yen per person. For families or groups, the total difference becomes even more significant. Ninja or samurai experiences are also popular among tourists, but when they can cost about 4,500 yen booked in Japanese, they sometimes go up to nearly 7,000 yen on English language sites. In short, tourists often end up paying more for the exact same experience than locals or residents do. Behind this are factors such as extra charges for English support or bundled foreigner packages. But these extra costs don't always translate into benefits for the participants. In fact, many places still provide English support even if you book in Japanese, meaning the price gap often comes down to nothing more than an information gap. There are 2 key points to avoid overpaying. First, check the Japanese official website or local apps using a translation tool. Second, try booking directly through your hotel or a local tourist information center. With just a little effort, you can enjoy the same cultural activity for several thousand yen less. The true value of travel memories lies in the quality of the experience. Don't let unnecessary price differences reduce that value. Be smart about how you book. Chapter 6. Shopping and Souvenirs. One of the greatest pleasures of visiting Japan is shopping. From anime merchandise and electronics to cosmetics, sweets, and traditional crafts, the range of souvenirs available is endless. However, this is also an area where foreign visitors often find themselves at a disadvantage compared to locals or residents. One typical example is the pricing at duty-free shops. Many tourists are drawn to duty-free stores at airports or city centers, believing the tax-free label means a bargain, but that's not always true. For example, popular sake or cosmetics can sometimes be 20 to 30% cheaper at local supermarkets or drugstores than at duty-free counters. In addition, souvenir shops in tourist areas sometimes sell the same items at higher prices than direct stores or official online shops for locals. For instance, a famous matcha cookie brand in Kyoto sold for 2,160 yen at a tourist shop, but only 1,728 yen at a local supermarket. That's a difference of about 400 yen. When buying multiple boxes as gifts, the total price gap becomes significant. Another issue is that many tourists assume all items sold in Japan are made in Japan. In reality, some souvenirs like toys or trinkets in tourist shops are imported, and locals often evaluate them carefully by price and quality. Foreign visitors sometimes buy them under the impression they are made in Japan, ending up paying more than the actual value. Thus, even in shopping, this information gap often leads to tourists overpaying. The country of origin is always printed on the packaging, so don't overlook it. A trip to Japan is a perfect chance to bring home memorable items. But with a little caution and research, you can buy the same souvenirs at better prices and ensure authentic Japanese quality. Chapter 7. Event and Festival Viewing Seats. One of the biggest attractions of traveling in Japan is experiencing seasonal events and traditional festivals. Events such as cherry blossom viewing, Kyoto's Gion Festival, Aomori's Nebuta Festival, and Tokyo's fireworks shows are especially popular among international tourists. However, in many of these events, there are cases where viewing seat prices differ depending on whether you are a local or a foreign visitor. For example, at a famous fireworks festival in Tokyo, the official Japanese website listed reserved seats at 6,000 yen each, while the same seats were sold on English-language ticket platforms for 8,500 yen. Despite being the exact same location and experience, that's a difference of 2,500 yen. If you attend with family or friends, the total difference can easily exceed 10,000 yen. Sometimes, this is explained as a special service for foreign visitors, but in reality, the seats and experience are identical. The only difference is the sales channel. In some festivals and events, so-called foreigner packages bundle unnecessary extras together at higher prices. For instance, the ticket may cost several thousand yen more simply because it includes a small souvenir or a short guide service. Of course, for first-time visitors, such services can sometimes be helpful. But for repeat visitors or those already familiar with Japan, these extras can turn into unnecessary costs. There are 3 ways to avoid overpaying for event viewing seats. First, check the Japanese official website and, if possible, book directly from the Japanese page. Second, ask a trusted local friend or service to help you purchase tickets. Third, always compare the official event information with foreign language ticket sites to check for differences. Japanese festivals and fireworks shows are once-in-a-lifetime experiences. That's why it's such a shame to unknowingly overpay. With a little research, you can enjoy the exact same seats at a fairer price, just like the locals. Chapter 8. Mobile data and internet access. One of the most overlooked costs when traveling in Japan is mobile data and internet access. Many international travelers rent Wi-Fi routers or buy prepaid SIM cards as soon as they arrive in Japan. However, airport counters often charge between 1,000 and 1,500 yen per day, which is relatively expensive. For example, a 1-week stay can easily cost between 7,000 and nearly 10,000 yen. Moreover, English language websites often advertise unlimited plans, but in reality, speed restrictions apply after 3 GB or 5 GB per day. Additionally, rental Wi-Fi devices for tourists often come with bulky batteries, which can be inconvenient to carry around. On top of that, if the device is lost or damaged, you may face penalty charges of over 20,000 yen. There are several ways to avoid these hidden costs. First, purchase an eSIM service before your trip. For instance, eSIM providers like Nomad or Airradio offer stable connections in Japan for around 300 to 500 yen per gigabyte. This is often less than half the cost of renting Wi-Fi at the airport. Lastly, make good use of free Wi-Fi at hotels, cafes, and public areas. These days, free Wi-Fi is widely available at major stations and tourist spots, allowing you to save significantly if you only need short sessions. Internet access is directly tied to peace of mind while traveling. That's why it's a real shame to unknowingly pay inflated prices. With smart preparation, you can enjoy fast and affordable internet throughout your stay in Japan. Chapter 9. Taxis and airport transfers. One of the most unexpectedly high expenses when traveling in Japan is taxi and airport transfers. This is especially true for airports far from city centers, such as Narita Airport or Kansai International Airport. For instance, a taxi from Narita Airport to Tokyo Station can cost over 30,000 yen if late-night surcharges apply. In contrast, trains for the same route cost around 3,000 yen on the Narita Express or about 2,700 yen on the Kansai Skyliner. This means that depending on your choice of transport, the same route can cost nearly 10 times more. There are also many websites that offer airport transfer services specifically targeted at international tourists. Although these seem convenient, in reality, they often cost between 15,000 and 20,000 yen one way. On the other hand, Japanese residents using major taxi apps can sometimes book fixed-rate rides from Narita to central Tokyo for under 20,000 yen. This means that tourists often end up paying more simply because they are unaware of cheaper alternatives. Even when using taxis within the city, caution is necessary. In central Tokyo or Osaka, the base fare is only around 500 to 700 yen, which seems cheap at first. However, traffic jams or longer distances can quickly raise the fare to several thousand yen. At night, additional surcharges apply, often leading tourists to spend far more than expected. To avoid unnecessary expenses, prioritizing public transportation is the best option. If you must take a taxi, using ride-hailing apps like Uber Japan or Didi allows you to check fares in advance. Airport limousine buses are also a great option, with fares such as 3,200 yen from Narita to Shinjuku or 1,600 yen from Kansai Airport to Osaka Station. Thus, while taxis and airport transfers are convenient, the cost differences can be huge. Being informed can save you over 1,000 yen on a single trip. For international travelers, the key is finding the right balance between comfort and cost. Chapter 10. Situations where foreign tourists actually benefit. So far, we've looked at examples where tourists often lose money in Japan, but there are also cases where they actually benefit. One of the best-known examples is the Japan Rail Pass. This pass is available only to short-term visitors, giving unlimited access to JR trains, including the Shinkansen and limited express services. For example, a round trip from Tokyo to Shin-Osaka costs about 28,000 yen, while a 7-day rail pass can be purchased for under 50,000 yen. If you also travel to places like Hiroshima or Fukuoka within that week, you can save tens of thousands of yen compared to buying regular tickets. However, there are important caveats. On the Shinkansen fastest services, such as Nozomi or Mizuho, an extra fee is required since the pass does not fully cover them. And if you don't travel long distances often and mainly ride shorter routes, a pass may actually cost you more than buying regular tickets. That's why it's essential to calculate your planned routes before purchasing to see whether it truly saves you money. In addition, many major tourist attractions across Japan offer foreigner-only discount tickets. For instance, in Kyoto, one-day passes for buses and subways are sometimes sold at a discounted rate to foreign visitors, making them cheaper than what locals pay. Some tourist sites even provide free guided tours or interpretation services exclusively for foreign visitors. These are offered as part of international tourism promotion and are not available to Japanese visitors. Another major benefit is tax-free shopping available to international travelers. Japan has a 10% consumption tax, but in tax-free shops, tourists can avoid this simply by showing their passport. For example, buying electronics or cosmetics in bulk can save you anywhere from several thousand to tens of thousands of yen. In some regions, there are even campaigns where foreign tourists are exempt from hotel taxes or hot spring fees. These benefits usually don't apply to Japanese residents, meaning that in such cases, tourists actually gain more. So, while travelers often face hidden costs, knowing the right information can help them maximize their benefits.
Next, let's go over 17 common mistakes travelers tend to make in Japan. Chapter 1. Taking large suitcases onto crowded trains. Japan's rush hour trains, especially in the morning and evening, are famously packed. If you board with a large suitcase during that time, it can really bother other passengers. There's barely room to move, and your suitcase may not only get in the way, it can also be a safety hazard. In major cities like Tokyo or Osaka, even just holding a suitcase during rush hour can attract disapproving looks. Try to avoid peak hours or consider alternatives like airport buses or luggage delivery services. Some Shinkansen routes now require reservations for oversized baggage. Make sure to check in advance. In Japan, being considerate of others is key, especially when it comes to your luggage. Chapter 2. Speaking loudly in quiet restaurants. Did you know that in Japan, quietness is actually considered part of the dining experience? Especially in sushi bars, traditional restaurants, or cafes, background music is minimal and voices carry easily. So when tourists speak at their normal volume, locals might perceive it as a disruptive or too loud. There are many online reviews complaining about noisy foreign guests at nearby tables. Because Japan values quiet enjoyment of food, it's important to be mindful not just of what you say, but how loudly you say it. If the other guests are keeping their voices down, like during dates or business meetings, your loud conversation can stand out awkwardly. Of course, casual conversation is fine, but in Japan, being aware of the atmosphere around you is key. Chapter 3. Confused by Japan's complicated garbage sorting rules. Many foreign visitors are surprised by how complicated trash disposal can be in Japan. There are many categories: burnable, non-burnable, recyclables, plastics, glass bottles, and cans, each requiring different handling. What's more, the rule and collection days vary depending on the city or even the district. So rules in one part of Tokyo may not apply in another. For short-term travelers, it's often unclear where and how to dispose of trash, whether in the hotel or out on the street. Even public bins near vending machines are usually only for cans and bottles. Putting other trash there can be considered rude. Simply tossing everything in one bag doesn't work here. And public trash bins are surprisingly rare in Japanese cities. If you can't find a proper place to throw something away, it's best to take it back to your hotel and ask how to dispose of it. You might wonder, why is it so strict? But it reflects Japan's commitment to cleanliness and recycling culture. Chapter 4. Can't find the shop because you can't read the name. One common issue when traveling in Japan is reaching the destination on Google Maps, only to be unable to find the actual shop. A major reason for this is that the shop name is often written in Japanese kanji, which many travelers can't read. Even if your map app shows the name in Roman letters, the real-life signs or building directories often display only Japanese. This is especially true for restaurants or cafes inside multi-tenant buildings or those located on upper floors. You might find yourself circling the same building repeatedly, thinking it should be here but I don't see any matching sign. To avoid this, take a screenshot of the shop's name in Japanese characters or check for pictures of the storefront in advance. Building directories often list tenant in kanji, so it helps to match the characters from your reference with those on the directory. Getting a little lost can be part of the adventure, but when you're tired, being prepared makes a big difference. Chapter 5. Accidentally entering restricted areas. One surprisingly common mistake among foreign visitors in Japan is accidentally walking into areas that are off-limits. At shrines and temples, certain sacred areas are meant only for worshippers, and stepping into them is considered highly disrespectful. If you're ever unsure whether an area is accessible, check for signs, ropes, or marking on the ground that indicate restrictions. Another common error is taking shortcuts through alleys or private residential areas thinking it's a public path. In tourist spots, stepping into off-limits areas just to take a good photo can easily lead to conflict with locals or staff. Because boundaries and social expectations in Japan are often implied rather than clearly marked, being observant is key. If you are unsure, the best approach is to stop and assess your surroundings rather than proceed and risk causing offense. Chapter 6. Shocked by the price after ordering omakase. At high-end sushi restaurant or traditional Japanese eateries, it's common to find a style called omakase or chef's choice. Many travelers order omakase without hesitation, only to be shocked by the bill afterward. Omakase allows the chef to serve seasonal specialties, but the price is often not listed ahead of time. In popular tourist areas, an omakase meal can easily exceed to 20,000 per person, leading to unexpected expenses. If you mistake omakase for a casual set menu, you might be in for an unpleasant financial surprise. Before ordering, it's wise to ask whether the chef can tailor the meal to your budget or provide a price estimate. Omakase meals often include premium ingredients, so it's normal for the price to reflect that level of quality. To enjoy Japanese cuisine without stress, don't hesitate to ask questions, especially when there's no written menu. Chapter 7. Getting totally lost inside Japanese train stations. Japan's train system is incredibly efficient, but for many tourists, the inside of a Japanese station can feel like a confusing maze. In mega stations like Shinjuku or Tokyo, there can be over 20 exits, and it's easy to get disoriented and not know which one to take. Even with signs like East Exit or West Exit, first-time visitors often struggle to figure out which side their destination is on. Even with a map on your phone, GPS can be unreliable inside the station, and you might keep walking without finding the right way out. Transferring lines can mean going up and down multiple sets of stairs and escalators, which eats up time and energy. If you're in a rush, it only adds to the stress. So it's best to check exits and transfers using Google Maps before you even arrive at the station. Some exits have confusingly similar names like South Exit, New South Exit, or South Gate, so make sure to double-check the full name of the exit. Since many stations are connected to large shopping complexes, they're great for sightseeing, but take your time navigating until you're used to them. Chapter 8. Confusing hotel onsen and public baths. When travelers hear the word onsen, many assume that it always refers to natural hot springs. But not all hotels actually have real onsen. Even if a hotel promotes a large public bath, it might just be a spacious tub filled with regular heated tap water, without any natural hot spring minerals. Onsen and public baths may look similar, but only when it says natural hot spring can you be sure it's a genuine onsen experience. In tourist spots, you might even see onsen-style bath, which only mimics the look and feel. It doesn't carry the therapeutic minerals of a real onsen. Because hotel websites can be vague or misleading, look for phrases like natural hot spring or direct from the source before you book. Even real hot springs may be diluted or heated for hygiene reasons, so if authenticity matters to you, read the fine print. Without knowing these distinctions, you might show up expecting a traditional onsen and leave feeling disappointed. Chapter 9. Ordering randomly because you can't read the kanji menu. Many restaurants in Japan still don't offer English menus. When faced with a menu written entirely in kanji, many tourists resort to guessing and ordering at random. Some ingredients like eel and catfish look similar in writing but taste very different, leading to unexpected surprises. Japanese cuisine includes many offal dishes and unique delicacies that may be challenging for those unfamiliar with them. It can be disappointing when the dish you get turns out to be nothing like what you expected. To avoid this, use translation apps on your phone or look for menus with pictures. There are apps that let you scan and translate text instantly. Downloading one before your trip is a smart move. And if you're still unsure, asking the staff for their recommendation is always a safe bet. Chapter 10. Stranded in the countryside with no transportation. Many tourists visiting rural Japan are caught off guard by unexpected transportation problems. Unlike in big cities, rural areas often have very limited train and bus service, and taxis can be hard to find. Many travelers book hotels that are a 30-minute walk from the station, only to realize upon arrival that there's no transportation available. If it's late at night or the weather is bad, walking can become a serious challenge. In small tourist towns, there may be only one taxi company, and calling one doesn't guarantee immediate service. Even smartphone apps may not show accurate schedules or have English information for rural transit systems. So it's essential to check access to your accommodation, nearby transit options, and your return route before your trip. If possible, confirm if your hotel offers shuttle service or save a screenshot of the walking route from the station. Chapter 11. Complaining at a ryokan because the futon isn't laid out. Many tourists are surprised to find no bedding laid out when they arrive at a traditional Japanese inn or ryokan. Unlike hotels, ryokans often follow a tradition where guests either lay out the futon themselves or the staff do it while guests are at dinner. In budget ryokans or no-meal stays, futons are usually left folded up until guests lay them out themselves. Complaining about no bed without knowing the customs may confuse or frustrate staff who are simply following tradition. Often, futons are stored in the closet, and some visitors don't realize they're meant to take them out and set them up. If you don't know how to set it up, just ask the front desk. They'll be happy to guide you. Laying out your own bedding is actually part of the cultural charm of staying in a ryokan. By understanding the style of your accommodation in advance, you'll have a much smoother and more enjoyable stay. Chapter 12. Confusing shrines and temples, and breaking rules without knowing. Many foreign visitors to Japan get confused by the difference between jinja and tera. They often look similar and are both seen as places of worship, so tourists may treat them the same way without realizing the difference. Shrines are rooted in Shinto, Japan's indigenous religion, and are marked by features like torii gates, guardian lion dogs, and halls dedicated to deities. Temples, on the other hand, are Buddhist and often include statues of Buddha, pagodas, bells, and are home to monks in training. Some people unknowingly offer incense at shrines or walk into temples' halls with shoes on, not realizing these are culturally inappropriate actions. Visitors sometimes even step into restricted areas, unknowingly offending local beliefs and customs. Worship customs differ too. At shrines, it's customary to bow twice, clap twice, and then bow once. At temples, a silent prayer with hands together is typical. By learning even the basics before your trip, you'll avoid cultural mistakes and show genuine respect for Japanese traditions. Chapter 13. Wearing shoes where you shouldn't. A common but serious mistake. Japan has a strong no shoes indoors culture, meaning many places don't allow outdoor shoes inside. It's not just homes. Traditional inns, tatami mat restaurants, temples, and some tourist spots also require you to remove your shoes. Due to cultural differences, many foreign tourists accidentally walk onto tatami floors with their shoes still on. Tatami mats are delicate and can easily be damaged or dirtied by shoes, making this a major breach of etiquette. Even after removing your shoes, you may be provided with slippers, often separate pairs for toilets and living areas. If you return to the room wearing toilet slippers, you might get some awkward stares from those around you. If you see signs saying "Please remove your shoes" or "No shoes," always follow them strictly. Respecting local customs, like proper shoe etiquette, shows appreciation for Japanese culture and leaves a good impression. Chapter 14. Overlooking the quality of food inside train stations. Train stations in Japan aren't just transit hubs. They're gourmet hotspots. Ekinaka dining is something many travelers overlook. Beyond convenience stores and fast food, you'll find sushi, ramen, curry, and traditional sweets, all made with quality that rivals standalone restaurants. For example, Tokyo Station's Grandsta or Shin-Osaka's Ekimarshe offer famous local eateries and trendy food all in one place. Many travelers assume that food inside train stations must be mediocre, but skipping these options is truly missed opportunity. Ekiben are also of surprisingly high quality, and enjoying one during your train ride is a classic Japanese travel experience. Even if you're short on time, Ekinaka food lets you enjoy great meals quickly. Perfect for travel days packed with train rides. Don't just walk past thinking it's just a station. Take time to explore. You might discover some of your favorite meals there. Chapter 15. Sampling without buying at department store food halls. Japan's depachika are like gourmet amusement parks filled with high-end culinary delights. You'll find free samples of cheese, wagashi, pickles, desserts, and more, letting you taste before you buy. However, circling the floor repeatedly and only sampling without buying anything can be seen as poor etiquette in Japan. Sales staff won't say anything, but they may feel uncomfortable if you take samples with no intent to purchase. Some tourists may think it's free anyway, but in Japanese shopping culture, it's better to be modest and considerate. If you need time to compare shops, saying something like, "I'll think about it and come back," is a polite gesture. Depachika are great places to discover delicious treats, so if you like something, even a small purchase helps support the vendors. Chapter 16. Getting frustrated by the lack of smoking areas. In Japan, smoking regulations have become increasingly strict due to a growing health-conscious culture. Most restaurants, cafes, and indoor areas in hotels are completely smoke-free, which can make smokers feel unwelcome. Even outdoors, smoking while walking or in public spaces is usually banned, and in some areas you could be fined. In cities and tourist spots, you may find designated smoking areas, but they are limited and not always easy to locate. Many travelers get frustrated by the lack of smoking spots, but in Japan, smoking is considered a tightly regulated behavior out of respect for others. Checking for nearby smoking areas in advance using apps or maps can save you a lot of stress. Smokers should also consider carrying a portable ashtray. Showing good manners can make your trip smoother and more respectful. Chapter 17. Running into trouble without enough cash. Even though credit cards and mobile payments are common in many countries, Japan still holds on to cash-based culture in many places. You'll often find that small restaurants, local souvenir shops, and rural transport systems don't accept credit cards or e-money. Many first-time visitors are shocked to discover that their credit cards are not accepted in many situations. On top of that, many ATMs don't accept foreign cards or are unavailable late at night, which can leave travelers stuck. In rural areas, the nearest ATM might be over 30 minutes away by car, making cash shortages a serious issue. It's a good idea to withdraw a decent amount of yen at the airport or in a major city before heading out. You can also top up a Suica or Pasmo IC card with cash, which can be used for trains, buses, and even at convenience stores. Next, we'll explain when you shouldn't visit Japan and the best times to come instead. The first period to avoid: late March. Late March may seem attractive with spring break and cherry blossoms, but in reality, it's one of the most crowded times in Japan. The main reason is that Japan's new school and fiscal year begins in April. During this period, students travel during their spring vacation, and many workers move due to job transfers and relocations. As a result, trains, buses, and flights become extremely crowded, making it hard to secure seats. In addition, with the high demand for moving services, truck and delivery bookings become limited and hotel prices rise significantly. For tourists, this period may still seem attractive because cherry blossoms begin to bloom. However, since locals also enjoy cherry blossom viewing, famous spots like Ueno Park or Kiyomizu Temple in Kyoto become packed with people. For example, in Tokyo, the usual commuter rush combined with tourist movement makes stations overcrowded, and even passing through the gates can take extra time. Airline tickets also become more expensive due to spring break demand, and domestic flights from rural areas to Tokyo or Osaka are often fully booked. Therefore, you should remember that late March brings more stress from crowds and expenses than the enjoyment of cherry blossoms. If you must travel during this time, you'll need strategies like visiting tourist spots early in the morning or focusing on regional cities. But if possible, avoiding late March and shifting your trip to mid-April or later will allow for a more comfortable and cost-effective journey. The second period to avoid: early April. Early April may look like a very attractive period for foreign travelers visiting Japan. The reason is, of course, cherry blossoms. In Tokyo and Kyoto, cherry blossoms are in full bloom, creating spectacular scenery and offering that quintessential Japanese atmosphere. However, in reality, this period is one of the worst times to visit Japan. The main reason is that it coincides with the beginning of Japan's new school and business year. During this time, new employees and students all start commuting, making public transportation even more crowded than usual. What makes things worse is the massive increase in people buying commuter passes. At ticket counters, especially JR's Midori no Madoguchi, long lines form, and foreign travelers often wait for over half an hour just to buy Shinkansen tickets. Stations are also packed with new commuters and students, making it extremely difficult to move around with luggage. In addition, since it's cherry blossom season, locals also gather in huge numbers at parks and famous spots. Places like Ueno Park, Chidorigafuchi, and the Philosopher's Path in Kyoto are packed even on weekdays, making it difficult to simply take photos. Hotel rates also rise sharply during this period, and popular hotels sell out quickly. As a result, even if visitors come for the cherry blossoms, they often end up struggling with crowds and high costs. That said, if you really want to enjoy cherry blossoms during this time, there are alternatives. For example, in the Tohoku region, cherry blossoms bloom in mid-April or later, so shifting your trip there lets you enjoy full bloom without the intense crowds. Visiting spots early in the morning or at night can also help you avoid crowds and enjoy the blossoms in peace. Nevertheless, if you want a smoother experience, it's better to avoid early April and plan your trip for mid-April or later. The third period to avoid: late April to early May, Golden Week. Golden Week is Japan's most famous and also most crowded holiday period. This holiday spans from the last week of April to early May, when multiple national holidays align and most Japanese people take vacations at the same time. As a result, tourist spots, transportation, and accommodations across Japan all become crowded, making this one of the worst times for travelers. The Shinkansen becomes especially congested, with reserved seats often selling out immediately after booking opens. In the past, you could still board by standing in unreserved cars, but in recent years, many lines have abolished unreserved seating, meaning if you don't have a ticket, you simply can't get on. Flights and highway buses are also heavily booked, with prices sometimes doubling or tripling compared to normal. Hotels face the same issue, with popular destinations fully booked months in advance, and even business hotels or guest houses charging much higher rates. Crowds at tourist sites are overwhelming. Places like Kiyomizu-dera and Fushimi Inari Shrine in Kyoto or Sensoji in Tokyo are so packed that walking becomes difficult and you may have to wait just to take a photo. On top of that, roads suffer from traffic jams. Highways can see traffic jams stretching for dozens of kilometers, adding hours of delay to reach your destination. Thus, during Golden Week, when the entire country is on the move, tourists face stress in transportation, lodging, and even dining. If you must travel during this period, you'll need strategies like booking 6 months in advance, focusing on regional cities, and traveling early in the morning or late at night. But if possible, it's far better to avoid this period and visit in mid-May or later, when conditions are much more comfortable and affordable. The fourth period to avoid: June to July, rainy season and summer heat. From June to July, Japan is far from an ideal time for tourists. First, June marks the rainy season, when long and frequent rains cover much of Japan. Unlike the short showers in Southeast Asia, Japanese rain often continues steadily throughout the entire day. You'll constantly need an umbrella, and wet clothes and shoes make sightseeing uncomfortable. On top of that, the high humidity makes it feel hotter than the actual temperature. Once July begins, the rainy season ends, and the full force of summer heat arrives. Summer in Japan not only exceeds 30 degrees, 86 Fahrenheit, but also combines with high humidity, pushing the heat index even higher. Just a short walk outside causes heavy sweating and increases the risk of heat stroke. In cities like Tokyo and Osaka, heat radiating from the buildings and asphalt makes sightseeing exhausting and unpleasant. During this season, heavy rains and even typhoons can disrupt transportation. Shinkansen and flights may be delayed or cancelled, forcing major changes to your travel plans. This mix of unstable weather and extreme heat makes sightseeing far less enjoyable. Many travelers have said, "I had to use my umbrella the whole trip in June and July," or "it was too hot to even walk outside." If you must travel during this time, limit your sightseeing to mornings or evenings and spend midday indoors. Hokkaido is a good alternative, as it has little to no rainy season and remains relatively cool compared to the rest of Japan. Still, overall, June to July is one of the least favorable times to visit Japan, and traveler satisfaction tends to be lower compared to other seasons. The fifth period to avoid: August, summer vacation and Obon. August in Japan is one of the toughest times of the year for travelers. The biggest reasons are the combination of extreme heat and heavy crowds. First, daily temperatures often exceed 30 degrees, and in cities, it is not uncommon to reach over 35 degrees, 95 Fahrenheit. With high humidity, the heat feels even worse, and just walking outside makes you drenched in sweat. Many people are hospitalized with heat stroke, making it a serious risk for travelers as well. In addition, Japanese schools have their summer holidays, and many families travel during this time. Tourist spots, theme parks, and beaches all become crowded, with several times more visitors than usual. The biggest issue within August is Obon. Obon is a traditional Buddhist event in mid-August when many Japanese return to their hometowns. During this period, Shinkansen trains, flights, and highways are jam-packed, with reserved seats selling out right after booking opens. In fact, many travelers report that I couldn't get a reserved Shinkansen seat from Tokyo to Osaka even a week in advance. Highways often see traffic jams stretching for tens of kilometers, turning a 3-hour drive into 6 hours or more. Hotel prices also skyrocket, sometimes doubling or tripling in popular areas. Tourist spots are so packed that even taking a simple photo becomes a struggle, leaving visitors more exhausted than satisfied. If you must travel in August, consider cooler destinations like Hokkaido or mountain resorts. You can also avoid some heat and crowds by visiting spots early in the morning or in the evening and spending midday indoors. Still, if comfort is your priority, August is definitely a period you should avoid whenever possible. The sixth period to avoid: late September, Silver Week. Late September is a period that requires special caution when planning a trip to Japan. The reason is that every few years, Japan experiences a long holiday known as Silver Week. It occurs when several public holidays align with weekends, creating around 5 consecutive days off, and many people take vacations during this time. For example, 2026 is particularly notable, with holidays from September 19th to 23rd, and some people will extend this into a 9-day vacation from the 19th to the 27th by taking extra leave. During this time, reservations for flights, Shinkansen trains, and highway buses sell out almost immediately after booking opens. Hotels face the same situation, with demand skyrocketing and prices doubling compared to normal seasons. tourist spots become as crowded as they are during Golden Week. Historical sites like Kyoto and Nara or tourist spots in Tokyo such as Asakusa and Odaiba are packed with people, making it difficult even to take photos. Highway traffic jams are also severe, with trips that usually take 2 hours stretching into 6 hours or more. Since many families travel during this period, theme parks and amusement facilities are overcrowded, with popular attractions requiring several hours of waiting. For travelers, the combination of transport inconvenience, higher hotel costs, and overwhelming crowds often result in a less satisfying trip. If you must travel during this time, it is better to focus on regional cities or less crowded areas. Still, the wisest choice is to avoid Silver Week in late September if at all possible. The seventh period to avoid: late December to early January. New Year holidays. Late December to early January is the most important holiday season of the year in Japan. This period overlaps with Christmas festivities and cities are decorated with dazzling illuminations. At first glance, it may seem like a great time to travel, but in reality, it is one of the worst periods for tourists. One reason is that New Year's is traditionally a time for Japanese families to gather. Millions of people return to their hometowns, causing Shinkansen trains, flights, and highways to become overcrowded. Reserved Shinkansen seats often sell out immediately, and unreserved cars are packed with standing passengers. At airports, returning travelers and tourists overlap, resulting in long waits as security at check-in counters. Another major issue is the sharp increase in hotel rates. In popular areas like Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka, prices can more than double, with rooms sold out months in advance due to family trips and group bookings. Tourist spots are also crowded with New Year shrine visits. At places like Sensoji, Meiji Shrine, and Fushimi Inari Taisha, hundreds and thousands of visitors arrive from New Year's Eve to New Year's Day, making movement extremely difficult. In addition, many small shops and restaurants close during this time. Even in regional towns, visitors may struggle to find open restaurants or shops. On the other hand, large department stores and chain restaurants remain open, but often with shorter hours. The cold weather also affects sightseeing. In northern Japan and mountainous regions, heavy snow can disrupt transportation. Therefore, visiting Japan during New Year often means facing a triple burden of crowds, high costs, and shop closures. If you must travel at this time, it is best to secure accommodations early in major cities and focus more on experiencing Japanese New Year traditions than sightseeing. From here, we'll cover the recommended times to visit, so pay close attention and make the most of this information for your trip. The first best time to visit: mid-April. Mid-April is one of the most highly recommended times to visit Japan. One reason is that the hectic rush of late March and early April settles down, and both transportation and city life return to a calmer state. By this time, the rush of new workers and students buying commuter passes has passed, making ticket counters less crowded and Shinkansen tickets easier to purchase. For travelers, the ability to move around without stress is a major advantage. This is also an excellent time for those who want to enjoy cherry blossoms. While cherry blossoms in Tokyo and Kyoto may be falling, Tohoku and Hokkaido are just entering their full bloom season. For example, Hirosaki Park in Aomori reaches its peak from mid to late April, offering breathtaking views of cherry blossoms around the castle. Sendai's Nishi Park, and Fukushima's Hanamiyama Park are also excellent spots to visit during this time. Compared to major cities, these areas are less crowded, allowing for a more relaxed cherry blossom experience. The climate is comfortable, with daytime temperatures between 15 degrees and 20 degrees, making it perfect for sightseeing and walking. A light jacket or long sleeves are sufficient, which also makes packing lighter and traveling easier. Another advantage is that this period comes right before Golden Week. Hotel prices have not surged yet, and even popular accommodations are still relatively easy to book. Crowds at tourist sites are moderate, giving travelers more space for photos and relaxed exploration. Mid-April truly offers the ideal balance of cherry blossoms, pleasant weather, and manageable crowds, making it one of the best seasons to travel Japan. The second best time to visit, mid to late May. Mid to late May is highly recommended time for travelers visiting Japan. The main reason is that Golden Week has ended and the massive domestic travel rush has settled down. After the holidays, Japanese people return to their normal routines, and the crowds at tourist sites and on transportation ease dramatically. As a result, even at popular spots, there are fewer crowds, allowing visitors to enjoy a more relaxed atmosphere. The weather during this period is also very pleasant. In Tokyo and Osaka, daytime temperatures are around 20 degrees with low humidity, making it perfect for sightseeing and walking. Since it is before the rainy season in June, there are many sunny days, making it an excellent time for photography under the clear skies. There are also advantages in terms of accommodation costs. After Golden Week, demand decreases, so hotel and inn prices stabilize, and reservations are easier to secure. For example, ryokan in Kyoto or business hotels in Tokyo drop from nearly double their holiday rates back to normal prices. For travelers, this is an ideal time to stay comfortably while keeping costs low. In addition, it is also a season of beautiful natural scenery. May is the season of fresh greenery, with mountains and parks covered in vibrant green, offering a different charm from cherry blossoms. In rural areas, it is also rice planting season, creating picturesque countryside landscapes and a great opportunity for photography enthusiasts. Mid to late May offers the perfect combination of fewer crowds, comfortable weather, and reasonable travel costs, making it one of the best seasons to visit Japan. The third best time to visit, October to November. October to November is one of the most popular and beautiful seasons for traveling Japan. The biggest attraction during this time is the autumn foliage. Mountains, gardens, and parks across Japan are painted in shades of red and yellow, creating scenery that looks like a painting. Famous spots like Arashiyama and Eikando in Kyoto, Mount Yoshino in Nara, and Irohazaka in Nikko are globally known for their autumn colors. The climate during this season is also very pleasant. Daytime temperatures are around 20 degrees with low humidity, making it ideal for walking and sightseeing. There is none of the muggy heat of summer and none of the harsh cold of winter, so most travelers find it very comfortable. In addition, many cultural events and festivals take place across the country during this time. For example, Kyoto hosts illumination events where temples and gardens are beautifully lit up at night. In Tokyo, events like the Kanda Festival and Asakusa's traditional ceremonies allow visitors to experience the autumn spirit. However, because of its popularity, places like Kyoto and Nikko become extremely crowded during the foliage season. Hotel prices rise, and reservations often sell out months in advance. Therefore, early booking is essential when planning a trip during this period. On the other hand, by choosing less famous regional spots, you can still enjoy autumn colors without the crowds. For example, Lake Towada and the Zao Mountain Range in Tohoku offer spectacular autumn scenery in vast natural settings. October to November combines beautiful autumn colors, pleasant weather, and cultural events, making it truly one of the best seasons to visit Japan. The fourth best time to visit: early December. Early December is a surprisingly good hidden season for travelers visiting Japan. At this time, winter has just begun, but the severe cold has not yet arrived. In cities like Tokyo and Osaka, daytime temperatures are around 10 degrees, and with a warm coat, it feels comfortable enough to walk around. In northern Japan, such as Hokkaido and Tohoku, snow begins to fall, but it is still before the heavy ski season crowds arrive. This allows those who want to enjoy snowy scenery to do so in a calm and peaceful environment. Another major advantage is that hotel prices remain relatively stable. As New Year approaches, hotel rates increase sharply, but in early December, prices are still normal, even at popular hotels. Tourist spots are also less crowded, allowing for a more relaxed experience. In Kyoto, some autumn leaves can still be enjoyed, and combined with nighttime illumination events, it creates a magical atmosphere. In Tokyo and Osaka, illumination events begin, filling the cities with dazzling lights. Visiting at this time also lets you experience the special pre-Christmas atmosphere while sightseeing. It is also an excellent time for travelers who enjoy shopping. Winter sales and Christmas promotions begin, and department stores and malls in major cities are filled with a wide variety of items. Yet, unlike the New Year rush, it is still calm enough to shop without overwhelming crowds. Early December combines mild cold, stable hotel prices, and fewer crowds, making it a highly cost-effective and comfortable season to visit Japan. The fifth best time to visit: February to early March. February to early March is a surprisingly overlooked yet excellent time to visit Japan. This period is the coldest time of the year in Japan. Even in cities like Tokyo and Osaka, temperatures drop close to 0 degrees, while in Hokkaido and Tohoku, snow piles up deeply. For visitors from warm countries, the cold can feel quite harsh. On the other hand, for those coming from colder countries like Canada or Northern Europe, the climate may actually feel just right. One of the main attractions of this season is that there are fewer Japanese tourists. Since it falls outside of busy periods like New Year's or spring break, tourist sites are calmer and far less crowded. As a result, hotel and ryokan rates drop significantly. In particular, hot spring inns often offer very reasonable rates, giving travelers the chance to stay at ryokan that are usually too expensive. Another highlight is the unique winter experiences available during this time. For example, you can enjoy the Sapporo Snow Festival in Hokkaido or watch monkeys bathing in hot springs at Jigokudani Monkey Park in Nagano. In addition, the crisp winter air makes Mount Fuji visible on many days, offering spectacular views. With fewer tourists, you can quietly stroll through famous temples, shrines, and UNESCO sites and take photos without crowds. Of course, proper cold weather gear is necessary, but in exchange, you gain the opportunity to enjoy Japan peacefully and at lower costs. February to early March truly combines cool, affordability, and tranquility, making it a hidden gem season for visiting Japan.
Finally, we'll go over 10 common scams you should watch out for in Japan. Chapter 1. Pickpocketing in tourist hotspots. Pickpocketing is rare in Japan, but that's exactly why many tourists let their guard down. In crowded tourist areas, there have been reports of grounds working together to steal from visitors. Busy trains, packed shopping streets, or crowded festivals, these are where pickpocketing strikes in seconds. People wearing backpacks on their backs or distracted by their phones are easy targets. Being fully absorbed in sightseeing without noticing your surroundings can be risky. Places like Asakusa, Shibuya, Harajuku, Ueno, and Kyoto's Gion area require extra caution. Scammers often work in pairs. One distracts you while the other grabs your wallet. Never keep your wallet in your back pocket. Use your front pocket or inside jacket pocket instead. Zip your bag fully and wear it in front of your body, keeping one hand on it at all times. Falling asleep on trains or buses is also risky. You might not even notice if someone slips something out of your bag while you are asleep. Be extra cautious on the first day of your trip when you are tired and more likely to doze off. If you do become a victim, report it to the nearest police station or koban immediately. Depending on what was stolen, you may need to cancel your credit card or apply for a new passport. To stay safe, it's important to reset the idea that Japan is completely safe. As long as you follow basic precautions, you can avoid most trouble before it even starts. Chapter 2. Fake Visit Japan web apps and phishing scams. Since 2023, the Visit Japan web system has become essential for travelers entering Japan. It allows you to pre-register customs and immigration info to make airport procedures faster upon arrival. While helpful, this system has also led to a surge in fake apps and phishing websites pretending to be official. Here's the key. Visit Japan Web is not an app. It exists only as an official website. If you see apps called Visit Japan or Japan Entry in the App Store, they're not official. Some of these fake apps ask for your personal data and steal things like your passport number or credit card info. Even if you search Visit Japan online, scam sites may appear in the top ad slots. Please note that only the URL listed here is the official website. If you are sent to a different link, there's a high chance it's a scam. Be careful with posts on social media or forum claiming, "This app worked great for me." They could be fake. Stick to information from official sources like embassies, consulate, or your airline's website. If you accidentally download a fake app, uninstall it right away and check your device's security. Consider changing your passwords and contacting your credit card company as a precaution. Many scam apps look exactly like the real website. They are very convincing. That's why assuming Japanese services are always safe can be dangerous. Before your trip, visit the official site directly and bookmark the correct URL yourself. Stay alert so you don't run into trouble before your trip even begins. Chapter 3. Jaw pricing for foreigners. In Japan, many services don't have visible price tags, and in tourist areas, foreigners are sometimes charged more than locals. This is known as jaw pricing. For example, the English menu might have higher prices than the Japanese one. Of course, most businesses are honest and fair, but there are some that take advantage of tourists. Watch out for taxis, unofficial tourist info booths, and cultural experiences with unclear pricing. Many travelers feel safe when someone speaks English and accept services without checking the price in advance. For example, in Kyoto, a rickshaw ride might be 3,000 yen if asked in Japanese, but 5,000 yen in English. In areas like Asakusa or Osaka's Tsutenkaku, tourists may be charged hidden service fees or seat fees. There are also reports of sushi or ramen shops serving expensive courses when tourists simply say omakase, chef's choice. To avoid this, always ask for the price before entering or ordering. Simple phrases like "how much is this?" or "is there a service charge?" can go a long way. An English menu doesn't always mean a friendly shop. Sometimes it's adjusted for higher tourist pricing. On social media, hashtags like tourist trap show real stories from travelers who are overcharged. Be cautious of cash-only places or shops that doesn't provide receipts. These practices are more common in small tourist area shops and late-night restaurants. To avoid ruining your trip, don't blindly accept the price. Double-check it yourself. And remember, just walking a few blocks from a tourist spot can lead you to fairer prices. Chapter 4. Rip-off bars and street promoters. Have you ever been approached while walking around looking for a bar or izakaya to enjoy Japan's nightlife? Phrases like "first drink is free" or "all you can drink for just 2,000 yen" can easily lure unsuspecting tourists. These street promoters, called catch in Japan, are often illegal and lead to many tourist scams. Areas like Shinjuku's Kabukicho, Shibuya Center Street, Roppongi, and Ikebukuro are hotspots for these scams. Once inside, you may be charged far more than the original price you were told. For example, that 2,000 yen all-you-can-drink might turn into a 10,000 yen bill with hidden fees. Some tourists have even reported being locked inside or threatened when refusing to pay. Others are told, "we don't take cards," and are escorted to an ATM to withdraw cash under pressure. Some places call themselves girls' bars or clubs and add outrageous charges later. Some promoters specifically target foreigners, knowing language barriers make it easier to deceive them. To stay safe at night, the most important rule is simple: never follow street promoters. Legitimate bars and izakayas usually have clear pricing at the entrance and don't use aggressive tactics. Checking Google Maps or review sites before entering a bar can help you avoid shady spots. If the bar is in a back alley, upper floor, or has no sign, stop and think before walking in. Some reviews mention extremely watered-down drinks or glasses filled mostly with ice. If something feels off, just walk away. You don't need to argue. Leaving quietly is the safe move. What should be a fun night out can quickly turn into a nightmare with hidden charges and intimidation. Don't assume nightlife in Japan is always safe. Stay alert and cautious. Chapter 5. Fake street monks and donation scams. While walking through Japanese cities or tourist spots, you might be approached by someone dressed like a monk. When they politely ask for donations for peace, you might feel inclined to open your wallet. But chances are they're not real monks. This is actually a common scam known as the street monk scam. Real monks in Japan rarely, if ever, ask for donations on the street. If someone were truly a monk, they'd be able to clearly explain their temple, activities, and contact information. Scammers often show a card claiming to be part of an international Buddhist organization. They'll hand you a clipboard in English saying things like "sign for world peace" and ask for your name. After you sign, they'll say, "please give a donation," and ask for money. They may act like small change is fine, but they are really after your 1,000 or 5,000 yen bills. In more aggressive cases, if you refuse, their tone changes and they pressure you to give. You'll often find these scammers near places like Ueno Park, Sensoji Temple, Meiji Shrine, Kyoto's Gion, or Osaka Castle Park. Many tourists think Japanese monks must be trustworthy and give money without thinking twice. But even in Japan, these scammers are a known issue, and the local governments have issued warnings. The best defense is simple. If someone asks for donations on the street, politely decline. Even if it seems well-meaning, remember, legit organizations don't ask donations on the street. If you want to support a cause, use official temple websites or verified charity platforms instead. Falling for a scam like this can ruin what should have been a beautiful travel experience. Kindness is a wonderful trait, but be aware that some people will try to take advantage of it. Chapter 6. Romance scams via dating apps. More and more foreign travelers in Japan are using dating apps like Tinder, Bumble, or Pairs to meet new people. Meeting locals and spending time together during your trip can lead to amazing memories. But unfortunately, some people take advantage of these encounters to run romance scams. Someone who seems sweet and trustworthy at first might actually be a professional scammer. Be cautious if someone who speaks fluent English starts getting close to you very quickly. They might talk about the future right away or say things like, "I want to be with you longer," to create emotional bonds. After a few dates, the money talk begins. This is the typical scam pattern. They may say, "My family is sick. I need money to extend my visa," or "I lost my wallet." It's easy to feel sympathetic and want to help, especially if you've started developing feelings. But that one-time payment can turn into 2, 3, or more, sometimes leading to losses of thousands of dollars. Romance scams are increasing in Japan, and foreign tourists are not immune. Some victims feel so emotionally hurt by the betrayal that it ruins their entire trip. So how can you spot a romance scam before it's too late? If someone tries to move too fast emotionally, be on your guard. If they bring up money within a few meetings, it's almost certainly a scam. If they truly care about you, they wouldn't ask a tourist like you for financial help. Also, if you're chatting online, Instagram, or WhatsApp, check their profiles and posts carefully. If their posts are sparse, they only have 1 or 2 heavily filtered photos, that's a red flag. Romance scammers often exploit language and cultural gaps, making foreign tourists prime targets. What should be a fun connection can turn into regret, so trust your instincts and stay cautious. Chapter 7. Let me take your photo scam with surprise tip requests. Have you ever had someone kindly offer, "Want me to take your picture at a tourist spot?" At first, it may seem like a generous gesture, but sometimes it's the beginning of a scam. Scammers often approach foreign tourists, offer to take a picture with their own camera, then ask for a tip afterward. They start off friendly, but after snapping the photo, they might say, "A tip please," or "This is normal," and turn aggressive if refused. Some even insist it's polite to give at least 1,000 yen, pressuring you into paying. In some cases, scammers work in groups. One takes the photo, while others surround and pressure you. This scam is common at famous tourist sites like Sensoji Temple, Tokyo Tower, Osaka Castle, and Kyoto's Kiyomizu-dera. Because strangers rarely approach people in Japan, tourists tend to lower their guard when someone seems helpful. But someone truly kind wouldn't ask you for money afterward. Japan is known for not having a tipping culture, so asking for money after taking a photo is highly unusual. If someone insists on a tip, firmly say no and walk away confidently. Also, handing your phone or camera to a stranger puts you at risk of theft, so be careful. When you need a photo, ask a fellow tourist nearby or someone clearly working at the location. Some scammers even claim to be professional photographers and charge outrageous fees after taking your picture. They may say it's free, then suddenly demand payment for digital files or print costs. To avoid this, don't immediately accept offers to take your photo. Pause and think it through. During travel, you're often in a good mood, which makes it easy to let your guard down. Scammers take advantage of exactly that vulnerability with photo scams like this. Chapter 8. QR code scams leading to fake payment sites. Cashless payments have become widespread in Japan, and many shops and facilities now accept QR code payments. Apps like PayPay, LINEPay, and Rakuten Pay are now more accessible for foreign tourists as well. But did you know this convenience has also led to a new type of scam? This scam is known as the QR code scam. In what seems to be a normal restaurant or food stall, you may be asked to scan a QR code at your table or the counter. However, that QR code may not belong to the store. It could be a fake one placed on top of the original. When you scan the fake code, it redirects you to a lookalike payment page designed to mimic the real one. If you enter your credit card number or security code, it goes straight to the scammer. Or you may think the payment went through, but you've actually sent money directly to the scammer's account. These scams are especially common at outdoor events, night markets, and temporary stalls near tourist areas. Scammers may photograph a store's real QR code, recreate it, and replace the original without anyone noticing. Since the fake code often look identical, travelers are especially vulnerable. To protect yourself, always ask the staff, "Is this the official QR code?" before scanning. A safer option is to search for the store manually in your payment app and complete the transaction there. Never enter your personal or card information on unknown links or browser-based forms. If the URL after scanning doesn't start with HTTPS or looks suspicious, stop immediately. Sometimes even the shop staff isn't aware of the fake code, so it's up to you to stay alert. Japan may be known as a safe country, but tech-based scams happen everywhere, including here. As we enjoy the convenience of a cashless society, it's important to stay aware of hidden risks like these. Chapter 9. Scams that exploit the tipping culture. Many foreign travelers are surprised to learn that Japan has no tipping culture. At restaurants, in taxis, or even at hotels, your tip may be politely refused. But did you know that this no-tip culture has given rise to a new kind of scam? It's called the forced tipping scam. For example, after finishing a meal at a restaurant or food stall, a staff member might ask, "Where's the tip?" This kind of behavior is extremely unusual in Japan. When tourists assume it's just like back home and hand over money, shady operators are encouraged to do it more. Some hotel staff may say in English, "Tips are required" when carrying your luggage during check-in. When someone is kind to you and then claims it's cultural, it's hard to say no. But in Japan, this kind of behavior goes against company policy and is not acceptable. In worst cases, people may demand a tip because they let you take a photo or because they showed you a seat. These gestures might seem tip-worthy elsewhere, but in Japan, they're never grounds for extra payment. If someone says, "Not tipping is rude in Japan," that's completely false. In some tourist areas, people may demand cash after taking a photo with you, calling it a souvenir fee. Kimono performers, ninjas, or samurai cosplayers sometimes target foreign tourists this way. When tourists don't know what's normal and just pay anyway, the scam spreads. To avoid this scam, firmly understand tipping is not needed in Japan. If tipping is mentioned, just say, "No tipping in Japan," and most people will back off. Places that ask for tips often have poor online reviews or are frequently reported for scamming tourists. Checking Google Maps or social media before visiting can help you avoid these places. What makes Japanese service great is its quality without tipping. Believe in that culture and enjoy your trip without tipping. Chapter 10. Fake food stalls and menu scams. What you see isn't what you get. Street food stalls and small outdoor eateries are bustling in Japan's tourist areas. Colorful menus with tempting photos and mouth-watering smells are hard to resist. But after you order, have you ever thought, "Wait, this looks nothing like the photo"? This is what's known as a menu bait and switch or fake food photo scam. You order something that looks delicious in the photo, but what arrives is cold, tiny, or missing key ingredients. For example, a stall advertises shrimp yakisoba with plump seafood, but all you get is noodles with one lonely shrimp. In most cases, refunds or exchanges are refused. Vendors often brush you off with, "We're too busy," and won't entertain complaints. In worst cases, the item you ordered doesn't match the name or description at all. A sign might say Wagyu beef skewer, but you are actually served cheap beef or worse, pork. These scams are especially common in areas crowded with foreign tourists. Be extra cautious in places like Asakusa, Dotonbori, Kyoto's Gion area, and Kamakura's Komachi Street. Some vendors take advantage of the fact that tourists won't come back and serve subpar food. Others may show only Japanese menus to avoid explaining what's really inside the dish. Tourists often feel unsafe, but pressure to order anyway when told no English menu. To avoid this, checking reviews beforehand is your best defense. If you see the review saying, "not like the photo" or "feels like a scam," stay away. Avoid stalls without prices or that just say market price, as these often aim to overcharge. It's tempting to order based on a pretty photo, but always double check before you pay. Japanese street food is amazing and should be something you can enjoy with confidence. That's why it's important to avoid shady vendors and support honest ones. Japan is a wonderful and safe country, but there are still many things that can catch visitors off guard. Be well prepared, stay informed, and make your trip truly unforgettable. We hope your trip to Japan becomes an amazing and memorable experience. Well, that's it for today. See you in the next video.